The famous philosopher Mike Tyson once said, "Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face." Hey guys, my name is Ronald Walker, your host here at Forge to Win. And on today's episode, I want to talk about strategy. I want to talk about how to talk to sellers when they've gotten thousands of phone calls. I want to talk about how do you get through your script when someone wants to sway you and push you and get you to a different direction. What does that look like for you here on Forge to Win? Guys, if you like this content, if you're finding it valuable, hit that subscribe button for me. Press the like button, send me a comment. It really helps with the algorithm and it just really helps the channel. And if you find this valuable, I'd love to have you guys on board with the Forge to Win family. So, how do you guys navigate difficult calls? Have you ever called someone and you had your script in front of you? If you watch my last script video, which you can go in the description, but have you ever gone through it and then someone disrupts it, right? Someone says something you weren't expecting. They throw the train off the side of the face. What does a script do? When you're practicing a script or role playing, think of it like martial arts, right? They call it the kata. Punch one, knee up, spin, step here. What does that allow you to do? It gives you some muscle memory, right? So your muscles are used to moving in a certain way. That's what a script does. When you practice script training, it doesn't mean say exactly these words every time you talk to a seller. Guys, if you go back through and watch my seller calls, yeah, I'm following a script, but oftentimes I'm circling back to certain words and someone takes us and we go down a rabbit trail or someone hits you in the face with some objection and you have to react, right? You've got to be able to maintain leverage through that strategy. How? By developing muscle memory. And this is why getting key words, key phrases, key sound bites out of the script, being able to use them, techniques. I pulled out this thing where it's, if this happens in this call, then I will do blank, right? If we start going down this route, this is what I'll do. You know, the other day I was doing a podcast and one of the guys, we were talking about sales. He's like, let's role play right in the middle of the podcast, right? And I was like, all right, let's do it. And he hit me pretty hard. Hey, what about this? What about this? And he acted like he was a very reasonable seller and we walked through it. But I've been doing it 1,000 times that I could adjust, I could sway, I could go back and forth based on the conversation. So my question to you is, how well do you know your script? Do you know what the direction you're going? Not the exact word by words in this piece of paper, but the general outline. Hey, I'm going to open up the call. I'm going to get past resistance. I'm going to set the frame on how I'm going to make the offer, and I'm going to tell them where we're going to go. Then I'm going to dive into, details about the property. Then I'm going to ask about motivation. Then I'm going to talk about roadblocks in our way. And then I'm going to get into the price and what that price looks like and unpack that and show them the next steps and create little commitments along the way to get to a yes. What does my second call look like when I make the offer? What do my 3 follow-up calls look like when I'm following up? A lot of this stuff, a lot of people will think, I need the exact words. Ronnie, give me the words. The words are good, but practice is about being able to operate in real time. Imagine you're training for a boxing match like Mike Tyson, right? Imagine you're going through, you're boxing, you're practicing a move, in the ring. When you're role playing, when you're playing with your partner, it's all there for you to get muscle memory. But when you're in the ring and you have another guy who's thinking and considering and doing this, and hey, I'm not a motivated seller, I don't need this, but they really are, right? Or another guy's like, hey, I'm a realtor. Okay, I bought properties from realtors. I'm a broker. I know what the values are. I'm not going to fire sale, right? Does it throw you off your game, or do you have an answer? Here's what I want you guys to think about. When you're walking through your script, when you're getting to know the direction that you're going, don't get too excited. Don't get too nervous, but stay calm. I call it the undercover fire, the fire burning in your bones, okay? That's going to get you to the end. And what does that look like? How do you navigate? I'm going to get to that here in a second on how you can navigate this call and be nimble. But one of the things before we do that, I want you to think about, okay, what is your goal? When you're playing chess, what is the goal to the game? The goal of strategy is to get the other player in checkmate. The goal of your phone call with a seller when you're trying to buy a property or a wholesaler or anybody that you're trying to do business is you're trying to talk to somebody to get to the point where they're going to sign a piece of paper with you that allows you to make money, that allows you to buy a house. And so keeping that in mind, you can go off and navigate, and maybe that goal will change. You realize, dude, this guy might be a great buyer, and the goal shifts and you pivot and go a different direction rather than sticking to your script. But you always want to remember that goal, because if you remember the goal, you can get off track a little bit, and then you can do what I like to call the circle back, right? Everything's about rabbit, circle back to the last point that you need to cover. Let's say you haven't framed the call, but you're 15 minutes in. This happens to me, guys, often, because, hey, how's it going, blah, blah, and all of a sudden we're talking about something else, but I haven't framed what I'm going to do to get them an offer. 15 minutes in, I'll circle back to that next element in my script that you need to talk about. Hey, man, we've been on the call for 15 minutes. I definitely want to buy a house. Let me tell you my process. Boom, and then I frame, right? If we start going from there and we're talking and we get into the details of the property too soon, but I haven't dug into motivation, hey, before we go any further, I'd like to ask you a question. What do you like? What's your next step? What are you going to do next in this process, right? I'm just curious. Can you unpack the scenario that you're looking to accomplish? I just don't understand. And what it allows you to do is have these moments where you're not just in the element of the script. This is what you're looking for. You're looking for transitions. If you can master the art of transitioning from one topic to another, it's like bouncing back and forth. And what you can do is you can stay within the ring. You can stay in control through questions and through transition statements. A transition statement looks like this. Hey, I was just curious. Hey, that reminds me of. Hey, you know, we've been talking for a little bit. I actually wanted to tell you what I do. Hey, would it be helpful? All of these little statements. Hey, before we get into the offer, hey, and what you're doing is you're offering a transition statement by calming the pace and moving them in the direction you want to go, because you have to get back to something in order to give them what they want. But you always want to remember that the goal is to buy the property. If you lose that, you're not going to be sure where to go. You're going to think, oh man, I need to talk about owner financing. No, they said a cash offer. It's fully rehabbed. You don't know how you're going to do a lowball offer. They just said they're not going to accept 130, you know, that they want 200, and you know your cash offer is 130. Hey, I'm pivoting. Okay, hey, Mr. Seller, you know, I might not be the best buyer for you, but would you consider renting it to me for a couple years and then maybe I buy it? What would you think about that? And you're pivoting in that moment. But the only way you can pivot is to be prepared. Preparation. I think it was Warren Buffett who said, an idiot with a plan can beat a genius without one, right? So the question is, do you know your game plan? If you watch my other videos, I talk about being on your game. Being on your game means get those reps in early, role play, listen to other guys, go to my seller calls and listen to them. Because as you listen to other people, you'll start realizing that actually fighting in the arena is much different than learning how to do it in a book. Watching Tom Brady play football is much different than reading a book about how to be a quarterback, because there's so many real world scenarios, and I could walk you through all the steps to a great sales process, which I will. But what you'll find is each step, each thing is a split second technique, is a split second for you to respond in the proper way. You see, a lot of us think, man, I should have said this back in that conversation. Oh, I should have said this. But the essence of being a good negotiator, the essence of being great at acquisitions and seller direct marketing is your ability to, in the moment, stay present with the seller, not think about your insecurities, not think about how much money I'm going to make, but to stay present with the seller and make the best decision on where that conversation should go in that moment by actively listening, knowing your techniques, and knowing your goal. And if you can do those things, guys, you can win in the acquisition game, because like the famous philosopher said, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. So what are you going to do? Are you practicing the stress? Are you getting people to beat you up? Are you getting in the ring? And the only way to get better is to play the game. Get on the phone. I see so many people scared to make 1,000 cold calls. Make the cold calls, because here's the thing. If you're nervous and timid and you don't know how to deal it, making cold calls strengthens you. It gives you heart. It gives you courage. And it allows you to face any obstacle where someone can hang up on you. They could cuss you out. You can smile at them and pick up the phone and call the next person. So guys, if you want to be able to survive the ring, if you want to be able to survive in the acquisition call and get to the point where you're putting properties under contract, I want you to get the script. I want you to read the script. I want you to practice it. I want you to practice the opening over and over and over. And I want you to start doing those katas. I want you to get some muscle memory. And then I want you to stay present with the seller. Stay present and ask them questions and navigate and get used to being in the moment, in the game. And then once you're in there, practice the script over and over again, realizing that the more you practice, the better you're going to get. Aim to get 1,000 calls in. Aim to get 200 conversations in over 5 minutes. And keep practicing and practicing and practicing. And remember that when you're in front of a seller, your goal is to get to the point where you can buy the property. So guys, are you ready for when you get punched in the face? If you found this message valuable, hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, peace. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching and enjoying this content. Please subscribe to the channel. Also, feel free to check out some more of the content that we have here. You can also go to ronaldwalker.com for more in-detailed resources. Have a good one.